updates. Good morning, Tobago.
Welcome to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates, your source for current affairs in Tobago, Trinidad, and the region. With the perfect conversations to complement your morning routine, I am Kandace Jackson, and let's get started with the news in 90 seconds. Political leader of the Unity of the People, Nkosi Phillips, called for an investigation into a controversial viral voice note. Two people were heard discussing using party supporters to spread propaganda on social media while providing them with teacher employment. According to Phillips, the information speaks to misbehavior in public office. They said it is also harassment and cyberbullying under the Offences Against a Person Act, which carries hefty penalties and prison time. Phillips revealed that they are writing to the Commissioner of Police, the Minister of National Security, and the Attorney General, requesting an urgent investigation into the matter. Meanwhile, despite the anticipation, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley did not announce the date for local government elections in Parliament yesterday. During his statement on the matter, however, Dr. Rowley promised that the date would soon be announced and it would be within the next 90 days. It comes after the Privy Council ruled that the government acted illegally by delaying elections for over a year. According to Dr. Rowley, the Parliament will debate an amendment on Monday that would extend the term of all councillors and aldermen from December 2022 to May 2023. Once successful, a writ would be issued for an election date to be fixed within 90 days. And finally, the political leader of the Progressive Democratic Patriots, Watson Duke, accused the Prime Minister of the quote, defending stupidity, end quote. During his statement in Parliament, Dr. Rowley attempted to validate his government's handling of the local government elections before acknowledging the Privy Council's ruling. Duke stated that the Prime Minister is irritating the public by not yet announcing the date for the elections. And that was your news in 90 seconds. Well, viewers, now we are turning away from the politics for this morning, and we're switching over to some, environmental updates. We have World Ocean Day coming up on June 8th. And on set this morning to talk to us about some things about World Ocean Day and the all the activities planned for it, we have Mr. Barry Loveless. Good morning and welcome to you, sir. How are you?
Good morning, Kandace. I'm fine. Thanking God for life and health.
Certainly. And great to have you here.
Yes, good morning, viewers.
Now, our oceans are very important. It's where we get a lot of our food. It's how our coastlines are protected. And, there's so much, right?
Yes.
So the theme for this year, according to the UN, is Planet Ocean Tides Are Changing.
Right.
And of course, this is it has everything to do with climate change and all the things that are happening, the rising sea temperatures. We've seen rougher and rougher seas as we go along. So much is happening, and that is affecting our lives currently. So,
Yes, and you put the thing in proper perspective there, right? Because the ocean is such an important aspect of island life in Tobago, right? Tourism.
We're surrounded by it.
Yeah, exactly. Tourism, which is our main income earner. It's based on the blue, we call it the blue economy, right? All things blue, right? Our main tourism attraction, what is it?
It's the Buku Reef.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So, World Ocean Day is something I think we should be commemorating in a big way. Now, the Department of Marine Resources and Fisheries, we are looking to do things in a big way this year. And I would just want to say, when I say the Department of Marine Resources and Fisheries, I'm also speaking by extension about the division, the long name division.
Yes.
I'll say it only once. The Division of Food Security, Marine Resources,
Natural Resources, the Environment, and Sustainable Development.
So anytime I say the department or the division, that's what we're talking about. Right? So we want to do it a number of activities this year. In fact, I call it a suite of activities, a suite of 6 significant activities. And the thing about it, we're not doing it alone. This year, we're doing with our partners, a lot of partnerships and so on. So I just want to, in the short time we have here, just outline what these activities are. And I mean, more than that, I want the public to be very engaged in these activities. It will be happening over the period May to
Into
June.
June, yes.
Right, as you said, the day itself is on June 8th, but that's a holiday. That's Corpus Christi, right? And significant also that of that same week, June 5th, that's when we celebrate World Environment Day within that same week, which is closely related. So we were of the thinking that, why not let's, expand the activities surrounding the month, and have a series of activities. So there are 6 activities.
So we're starting off with a beach cleanup on May 29th.
Right. Well, actually, we already started because in May 16th, we had a beach cleanup, and that was at Kilgwin. Now, that one was led by the Assistant Secretary, Mr. Tate, right, and the department, the staff, and the management and staff of the department. And, well, we thought we should lead by example. So we went down to Kilgwin Beach, right, the mangroves there, the road that passes through the mangrove. So we cleaned up on either side and along the beach, right? So that kind of signaled the launching of these activities. Now, Monday coming, May 29th, that's when we have another beach cleanup. And this time it will be on No Man's Land. We're going to clean up No Man's Land and also Wind Hole. That's at Pigeon Point, that beach in the back there that they do all the water sports and so. Right, so those are going to be the areas that we're going to look at on Monday coming. And who we expect to engage in this one, users of the reef. Persons such as reef tour operators, people who use that area for water sports, even the persons who vend on No Man's Land and so. We expect to engage them in that cleanup. And also, well, that's mostly on No Man's Land. And then in Pigeon Point, we have schools wanting to participate. We have the various divisions, members from the various divisions wanting to participate and so on. Now, how that one is going to happen, we expect is 2 teams, right? One for the No Man's Land. We're going to be leaving off Gibson's Jetty at 8 o'clock. We're going to start the cleanup around, let's say 9, half 8, 9, right? And then we're going to do that for about an hour and a half, and then we're going to join the others at Wind Hole, right? Those coming in from Wind Hole, from land, they assemble at Pigeon Point, right? And I should say that Pigeon Point is a major partner in this one because I want to mention the partners along the way.
Yes.
Right?
And so that's happening on May 29th.
Yes.
Right? No, but there's also something very exciting happening called BioBlitz.
Right. So right after that May 29th event, and well, I should mention also I just want to make sure I mention the partners. We have Pigeon Point Heritage Park. We have the Department of Environment. We also have Tobago Recycle Resource Initiative. They will be the partners for that event. Right? So you mentioned BioBlitz. That one now is being hosted mainly by the Trinidad and Tobago Fields Naturalist Club and the University of the West Indies. Now let me explain BioBlitz a little bit. The first one they had in Tobago, that was in 2015, and that was at Charlottesville. And how it's organized, you have experts and volunteers who have interest in the various phyla. Like you have the bird people, the reptile people, the amphibian people, and so on. And then you have the marine people. And they form teams, and within a 24-hour span, these teams go out and collect data in terms of the amount of species they can find and describe, right? And they bring it back to the base, right? And they sort the data, analyze it, and so, and then they publish it, right? It's very exciting. So they didn't have any for the last 2 years because of the COVID and so on. So this is the first time they're doing it again in person.
And they're doing it in Buku?
And this time they're doing it at Buku. The base camp now will be at the Buku Government Primary School, right? So 24 hours. Now, if you are interested in one of those areas, right, you can sign up. You go to their website, the Field Naturalist Club, Trinidad and Tobago Field Naturalist Club website, or the Facebook page, and you register for whichever aspect you're interested in. Now, the thing about it, of course, we being marine, we have a bias towards the marine, right? So we're organizing for surveys to be done within the protected area, right? And again, we'll be engaging some of the reef tour operators to help the snorkelers do their surveys and so on. And then,
And I'm going to pause it here
Yes,
because Mr. Lovelace, some time ago, you came up with a song that used to be teaching primary school children about, just the species that were in the reefs and so on. Will we see a revival of that song to kind of get them thinking about what they should be looking for?
That's highly possible. There are some other events coming up later, which that song might very well feature. Right? But we'll come to that. There's a lot of I'm talking fast. I'm not normally a fast talker, but we have a short time to say a lot of things. I'm trying to make sure the public get the full the fullness.
Next on your list is the Lionfish Derby. And of course, this is important because while our reefs are threatened by the rise in sea temperatures and threats of coral bleaching, we have this predatory fish that's in our waters that's not native to the Caribbean, but unfortunately it's here.
Yes.
Consuming all the other fish and lobsters and everything else.
Yes. Well, just before I move on to the BioBlitz, as I said, I want to make sure I pick up the partners. So BioBlitz, we have Species, the Buku Reef Trust, we have Tobago Arc. Those are major partners in that event, right? And if you, as I said, sign up and participate. So you talk about the Lionfish event now. That's coming up next. Now that's a big one. That's on the 7th, the 7th of June. Now, as you've rightfully said, the lionfish, I don't think the population is aware of it as they ought to be, but the lionfish is here. It's an invasive species. It has no predators, really.
No.
It eats almost everything that is smaller than it, and so it's posing a real challenge to our marine environment.
And they're getting bigger and bigger in our waters as well.
Yes, getting bigger and fat and flourishing, right? And I have a slogan saying, let's eat the lionfish before the lionfish eat us. Right? Because
I don't know if people realize, because I've been around and you've seen when you cut open the lionfish and you find all the amount of different species.
That
they
you
can
see
do a BioBlitz for what the the lionfish consume.
Actually, IMA, who is a major partner in this one, they will be doing just that. Right? The capture, the fish caught from the Lionfish Derby, they will be analyzing the gut for contents. That's an ongoing study that they have, so that they can understand, what it preys upon and so on. And
it seems as though it preys upon everything.
Everything. Well, that's the finding so far. Almost everything you find in the gut of the lionfish. But the only way to deal with the lionfish is to put pressure on them, hunting pressure. Right? That's the most reasonable way across the Caribbean that has been there. So we say, we have to control the population. So that's part of the objective of this. Now,
will we have a cookout for it? Because lionfish tastes very good.
I get into that. It tastes very good. And so we're promoting this derby, right? Now, the derby itself is a fun thing and interesting, but it has a serious objective behind it. Now, how we're promoting how it's organized, it's on the 7th, right? You can organize, it's by teams. You can only enter by a team, because an activity like that, we don't want individuals going out alone. You must dive with a couple, a pair, and you must have a boat captain, right? So a team must have at least one boat captain and 2 divers, right? You go out and you could start anytime on that day of the 7th. You could start to catch fish. You could start from midnight, right? But the key is you must land your fish at the landing station at 2 or before, 2 p.m. on that day. And it's at the Castara fishing facility where that will be held, right? So you can register, again, in terms of there's registration forms going around on social media. And so if you can't find it there, the easiest place you can find to register, Tobago Arc, ARC.org, TobagoArc.org. If you go to that website, you'll find it there where you can register your team. Right?
Now we have a couple more minutes, right? So let's touch on the other events, such as the Blue Heritage Symposium.
The Blue Heritage Symposium now, that's happening on the 9th, right? So the lionfish would have been the 7th, the holiday is the 8th, and then we have now the 9th of June. Blue Heritage, World Ocean Day, Blue Heritage Symposium, that will be happening at Pigeon Point, right? Now, there, we expect to engage organizations that are involved heavily in the blue sector, right? So organizations like IMA, the same Trinidad and Tobago Field Naturalist Club, Buku Reef Trust, even TADCO, right? And several others, species as well. will be doing presentations and engaging in discussion at that symposium. We also intend to have students there, and I expect some high-level people to be there discussing high-level things, because my own personal hope is that that conference will deal with one major issue, right? And that is pertaining to our main blue asset, as you said, the Buku Reef, right? And the question is, how can we do better at managing this resource? How can we do better, right? It's this park has been, I mean, since 1970. Well, I can't remember what, 76 or somewhere there, right? And then we had a management plan. The IMA would have created a management plan in 1995. It speaks to zoning the area. It speaks to user conflict and stakeholder management and all these things. And still, we've been struggling over the years to get it right.
Yeah.
How do we manage such that we meet our conservation objectives as well as our tourism objectives? These things need to harmonize. And so I'm hoping in that symposium that will be a discussion that will move us one step closer to managing that space, that seascape.
Very, very
properly.
important discussions. And of course, as part of it, I mean, there's a field trip part for, I think that'll be for what, students?
Yes, the next day.
Those are for primary school students, or?
Well, mostly secondary, students,
okay,
primary and secondary, but they have to register. I think last time I spoke to the organizers of that, who is Species, I think the places will fill, so much subscription, it's oversubscribed already,
yes.
Right? So, but Species is the main partner in that one. Yeah.
And then finally, you have a seafood fair. I think everybody can be excited for this one.
Most people would be excited about that one, right? Now, that one, we expect that TACO will be leading in that one. TACO has the normal, what they call
the Fish Hub.
The Fish Friday.
Yeah.
The Fish Friday is the last Friday of every month where they highlight seafood. But of course, granting we're celebrating oceans in June, we expect a really hyped up food fair, seafood fair, right? And this is called a special edition Fish Friday. And of course, the department now, what we'll be focusing on in that fair is the lionfish. So the lionfish caught a week or so earlier, we're hoping to cook it and sell it at that occasion. IMA will also be there giving information.
I'll be first in the line
how to prepare the lionfish.
Some lionfish.
Yeah, because you have to prepare that.
Yes, you have to cut off this spines.
It's a venomous fish, so you have to have some knowledge in terms of how to prepare it and so.
But as long as you cut the spines off, it should be fine. So
turn down your pot on June 30th. Turn down your pot and support that event. Seafood lovers and so on, come down there. We also expect to be there. The fisher folk doing their thing. The vendors at the food hub. It's just at the Shore Park food hub. It's happening, right? So that should be a very exciting event as well.
All right, folks. Well, there you have it now, Mr. Lovelace. Unfortunately, we are out of time, but we are certainly looking forward to see what happens. We'll be following up with all these various events as we, pay attention to our ocean. So important right now because if you don't know, certain things like coral reefs, are on the serious threat around the world. 50% of the world's coral reefs are gone.
Yeah, and we have a little bit here to protect.
Yeah. All right.
So just two things before we go that I want to leave on the mind. TobagoArt.org to get more information on all that we've spoken here. Tobago Art, that's easy to remember. And if you're willing to sponsor, especially Lionfish event, give me a call. All right, and we talk.
All right, good stuff coming up.
Very good
all right,
stuff.
Thank you so much, Mr. Lovelace. You're going to be on with us, and we can just develop some of these things a bit more. But again, thank you.
Invite me back.
We will. We will. All right, viewers, we're going to take a quick break, and we will return with some more discussions on GMT. Don't go anywhere.